Good morning, guys. Welcome to this Thursday, March 20. And I've popped up my screens this morning and saw this whole thing happening. A complete overnight reversal happened around about 4 or 5 in the morning. It's been an hour after London Open. Man, look at that. I was looking for a headline. Can't find a headline anywhere of something happening somewhere, but I thought something happened on the geopolitical front or something like that when the market sells off like that. But I can't tell exactly what caused this or what it is. So I haven't found the headline yet. So if you know or have any inkling, just put it out. Either way, the market's way down in the overnight. It's a complete reversal from what happened in the late yesterday on the Fed announcement. They were heading up here pretty good. We're looking at if they could hold the 57.20s, we were in pretty good shape to potentially take this higher. But look at it, London session all the way down. So if I can be getting into that, the news we have this morning, fair amount of news. 8:30 we get jobless claims, you get Philly Fed, current account, current account. At 10 we get existing home sales and leading indicators, and nat gas report at 10:30. We have a 10-year tips auction at 1. So 8:30 and 10 we get news today. Not sure if any of that news is going to be market moving in the sense. Then on Friday, it's quadruple witching. Really no news, just quadruple witching. So it's probably going to be a sloppy Friday ahead of us as people run it back and forth, hit option expirations. Anyway, looking at the ES to get started, just diving into this. So yesterday we had a nice rally here, heading higher. They popped it all the way up to 57.70s, and it started selling off a little bit going into the close towards the afternoon. And the analysis was really if they could hold this support area at the 57.25s. Below that one, we were going to take off the long bias and go back range bound. Above it, we will hold, keeping our fingers crossed they could hold to that 35 level. They held it most of the overnight. I was looking at this thinking that they had a pretty good shot here. Then the London session kicked in and they were looking at it all the way down. So a big move to the downside. Another retracing, about 50% retracement on it already. So it's yeah, I can't quite figure out what that was, but it's definitely set the market in an interesting spot. So we are building value right here at this resistance area. We have a little bit above it, and then a little bit below it. Looks to me like they're looking at this more like an attractor right now. So we have a volume attractor just a little bit higher at the 57.60s, but right now they're building value in this low volume area right below it. So going back and forth here. At this point, we're looking at the 56.70s. This lower area as a pretty good support area. So if they can hold that, maybe we can stick in this upper range and start building value up here. We'll see. At this point, though, I'm going to have to start thinking, we're going to start off this from the short side, just to get started, just to see if this is, if they're going to see any continuation of this move. So if there's something behind this, I'm not fully understanding or grasping. Anytime you see a move like that in the market, you kind of have to ask yourself if there's anything behind it you missed, or which is fundamental, structural, or something to that effect. And if that's the case, we may see continuation to the downside. So we'll start off looking for weakness, see if they can retest these lows. And if we don't see that, at least by the London close in today's session, I think that there was more of a technical sell-off at that point, an algo sell-off, if you wish. And if that's the case, we can certainly retrace this right back up again pretty easily. But if there's something out there which we haven't seen or hasn't shut up on our screens yet, then we may see some continuation to the downside and taking it down into this lower range. And I'm thinking this is support area 56.70s. That was the initial move down here. That's what it stalled the first time to it. They've been holding up above here. So in a period here, they took it, they probed below that one. Couldn't really take it any lower. Today's session, And that was in the overnight yesterday. We're trading down here, and then yesterday's close was, or the high of yesterday was pretty much right up here in this volume attractor. So I'm going to be hopeful that we can hold this range. Watching that very carefully, that 56.70. So if you start taking out these support areas in the bottom end of this, 56.80, 75s, 70s, I would start thinking about the short trade in a much bigger way. So these three areas of support comes out. I'm going to start thinking about the moves into this lower range, maybe lower. And if they can hold this range, maybe we'll get a shot at seeing this retracing here throughout the day session. So that's kind of the dynamic I'm going to be watching for. Looks to me like resistance here at the 57.10 is pretty good. At least on the way back up again. A nice three-letter ledge setting up there. That was our mode of yesterday. That was before that the Fed announcement and the nice move to the upside really started happening. So the Fed announcement, they were trading down here, and then when after Powell started speaking, that's when we got this rally to the upside. So that got reversed, and then some in the last few hours here in the overnight. So if they can get up above this 57.10 to 12, maybe we have a shot at retracing these single prints, and if that starts happening, we may have a nice move here to the upside. Still watching this area, the 57.25s. Kind of had to get up above that for us to start thinking about the long side again and start maybe thinking about them taking this a little bit higher. So kind of in the twilight zone to get started. I'm looking for that early weakness to see if they can retest these lows, if there's any continuation of the overnight move. But if that doesn't materialize, let's go back range bound, start looking for that retracement trade here against these single prints, back up here towards the 25, 35, and 40s. Sorry, this is almost 50s. So that's kind of the edges on the upside. And if they can clear a couple of these edges, trade up above that 35, 37 resistance area, I think we may have a shot at them and taking it right back up here again, maybe even starting something to the upside. So we'll see if this overnight was just a one-off flush to the downside, a shakeout move, or if it's there's something behind it. So that's how we get started on the ES. Looking for early weakness to see if they can retest these lows. If that doesn't materialize and start retracing these single prints here above the 57.10, look for that retracement trade. Still looking for a short against the 57.25s. But above that, I would start thinking about maybe the long side is the side to be on if they start trading above that. They can still technically hold resistance anywhere against the 35s, the 45s, 45 to 50s here, or the 60s. For rotations back down again. So either of them can hold as resistance. It is pretty good resistance, but this is 2 times they have tested this area. So the third time they're up here, we may have a shot at taking it out. So we'll see. So that's how we get started on the ES. But look at that move. That just catches your eye, doesn't it? And then after they run out of gas, then slowly start drifting back up again. So we'll see if this was a technical sell-off or something else behind it. NASDAQ and the bonds. Bond market to the upside, not a great sign. That kind of implies that we may have something going on. And so when this whole sell-off started happening and I see the bond market trade higher, kind of had to start thinking about, okay, flight to safety going on here or what? So bond market to the upside, trade that on the long side. We are up against that upper edge, 118. All right, so now this is a pretty critical edge right here up against the 18. It's a low volume area, a nice ledge there. And if they start trading above that, we're into territory where we may see a move out of the middle to the upside. And that would be yields coming down further. If it's a flight to safety, not quite the reason you want yields to come down, but we'll take it, at least in the short term. So at this point, I would trade the bonds on the long side, looking to buy weakness. It looks like they're right above, so we're looking to buy against 1808. So that would be aggressive, or down here at the 1728, rotations back up again. And then if it starts trading below that 117.20 to 22s, the London low, take off the long bias and go back a range bound at that point. So let's see if this little pop on the bonds has any legs as well, or if there's something going on there. The bond market up, an interesting sell-off in the overnight. This kind of just had to get your red flag up a little bit, but looking for some potential moves in the if there's anything going on behind the curtains here. On the Nasdaq, same story there. Big retracement in the overnight. Pretty good move up at the based on Powell's analysis or press conference. And so we were up here against this upper area, close a little bit lower below this area of this congestion area at the 20,000s. And now we are well below it again. We're all the way down to the 7s, so 250 points to the downside. So a pretty big move to the downside on the Nasdaq. But if you're looking from the close, it's not that big, but given how far we went and then retraced, it's a pretty good retracement move. So starting off the same way on the Nasdaq, looking for early weakness. See if you can retest these lows and potentially take out this ledge. I have a little volume edge here at the 720s to 30s, and if that edge comes out, a little volume area, a little volume bulb, this little volume edge, a little tractor area at 680, 690. If this area comes out, I think we may get right back down into this lower, probing the lows again. So you never know if this is, they've been holding here for a bit, so it looks like we find some sort of a bottom. Doesn't mean that we may not see another test of all these lows. So looking for that early weakness to see if this is going to materialize. If they start trading above this 860s, that last three little ledge against that level, we may see a retracement trade coming right back up again. So those are the options. When it moves violently down like this, either you get continuation or chances are you may get a nice little snapback retracement trade out of it. So I'm watching for that. It could be a nice little move in to the upside in that. But it's anyone's guess where they're going to go. I have not seen a headline, so it's hard to make a call on it. If it's something geopolitical, some structural thing happening, yeah, I would be more inclined to lean on the short side of this. But if it's like more algo trading, this is a whole algo sell-off, London session algo sell-off, then chances are we may see a nice retracement coming today. But that's the question. So, and we have a couple of levels to key in on. On the ES, that ledge is at the 5710s. On the Nasdaq, that is at the 860s, 19860s. So let's see what side of that ledge they're going to trade on. But getting started, just looking for that early weakness to see if it's going to materialize or not. And then finally, oil and gold. So gold backed off a little bit from the 65s. They're back to this 40 attractor area right now. They was building value here for a bit. Looks like that's where they're going to hold. They stalled at the 30s. So they ran down here, retested that support area. So far, they're trading up. I would watch this support area too, the 30, 35s. That support area comes out, we may see a nice retracement trade on gold as well. So that could be another potential move, because gold moved pretty freaking hard here recently. And question is if they can hold this. A pretty good move to the upside from 29.50 up to the 3,050, so $100 to the upside. And it looks like 3,040 is going to be a potential attractor. Doesn't necessarily need to be that, but I'm watching that lower area, the 3,030 to 35s. And if that comes out, potential retracement trade back to the 3,000s in there. So that's the dynamic on gold. Still trading that as they move out of the middle to the upside. So not very aggressive on the short side at all. But if this cut off the buying now at the 65s and they start taking out the 30s, we may have a retracement trade. Basically, stage 2, look for a spot to cut off the selling, and then you find your value area. So that's kind of the dynamic I'm looking at on gold. Did we cut off the buying or not today? And if they can't really get up above the London high at the 55s here, hang on before I keep going. If they can't get up above this 55 area and starts trading above that, I would be more inclined to look for that retracement trade and see if they can cut off the sellings at some lower price here and enter stage 3. So that's kind of the way I'm looking at gold right now. It's still very much a move out of the middle to the upside. But this backing off like this in the overnight could very well be that cutoff we'll be looking for. So volatile gold, and then finally oil. a little bit to the upside, but didn't move a whole lot. So oil wasn't a big reactor in this. So probably not the Middle East situation. I would probably have more of an impact on oil. So anyone's guess what caused that sell-off at this point. We'll see here as the news day kicks in what the analysis or the opinions are coming out. But at this point, looking to trade is pretty much range bound. Looking to sell strength at 67.50, 68.10 up to the 68.50s. Looking to buy weakness 66.70s, 66.40s, 66 evens with rotations back up. And as before, preferring the short side if I can get on a short trade, I would prefer that for rotations back down. All right, so that's oil. Gold. So gold, let's see if they can retrace further. To trade that from still as a move out of the middle, but look for that retracement trade to the downside, that early weakness, if they can take out the 30-35s. And oil range bound trading on that one. Back to the ES, and this big move still I can't very much catches your eye, doesn't it? So let's see here. So they cut out they ran out of gas here at the 85 so far, and they've been drifting higher. The Tablet trade did not happen. They ran up here, then a small pullback, drifting back up again. So let's see where they're going to go from here. But I'm looking at this, as I said, 57.10. Potential retracement trade above that, retracing this violent sell-off to see to get up above this man, get up above this 57.25 area. So if we can get up above that one, I think I'd be more inclined to start thinking a retracement in the scenario. If they can't, still going to be keeping my eyes open for early weakness, for a retest of these lows to get started. And then we'll see if they can hold those lower support areas. And it's pretty obvious. I mean, this is going to be down here testing these lows again. And if they run down here testing it, that's your key area. If that comes out, stay on the short side. If not, could be a nice long opportunity there. Alrighty. I think that's it for now. So I've got news in a few minutes. Jobless claims, Philly Fed, and the current account coming out. So good trading, guys. And I'll see you back at 11:30 for the next update. Right, guys, later.